Welcome everyone to another session of the Espresso series. This is a bit of a special session. It's sort of a combination. This is our awards, Rate My Agent, Agent of the Year Awards kickoff. We're actually going to show everyone the leaderboard. We've launched a new leaderboard into the back end of the platform, which we'll get to. We're going to show some examples of the leaderboard and talk about that. So it's a really exciting one for us. Everyone needs to get their reviews in by January the 3rd. So you're going to hear a lot from Rate My Agent over the next couple of months about getting your reviews in. But once again, we've got Australia's #1 real estate coach and founder of the Real Estate Gym, Tom Panos. Welcome, Tom.
Good to be here again, Mark.
And we've got a really special guest today. Tom, one of the things that not a lot of people know, but I've been in real estate a long time, and one of the reasons I wanted to found Rate My Agent was because we looked at real estate and we saw that there's a lot of negativity around real estate agents. You know, they're the lowest ranked, and I just thought, this is a load of bullshit. There's really wonderful people in real estate, great people, humble people, experienced people, and I think one of those people is Trevor Bowen. Trevor, welcome to the Espresso series.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Tom. I'm honoured to be here.
Yeah, so Trevor, you're a real estate agent and a full-time fireman. How the hell does that work?
Yeah, balancing your hours and not wasting time. One thing I mentioned to Tom a few weeks ago, and you talk about good guys and bad guys, it took me a long time to get my head around. You know, you'd leave one uniform and leave the fire station and go home and put the suit on, and you'd go from everyone loving you to everyone hating you all in 2 minutes. And it's like, I'm the same guy. It's just a different uniform.
So, Tom, how did you guys meet?
So, look, in the real estate gym, Trevor has been a gym member, I would say, for around 3 to 4 years. And my recollection of meeting Trevor for the first time was when he was working in a group prior to Buxton's at a training event there. Am I right? Am I right, Trevor? That would have been 4 years ago?
Absolutely. And if I can take over, Tom, because I probably remember it more than you. But you had a training session and there was a Q&A at the end, and I couldn't think of a question. I thought, I was really disappointed in myself because I normally think outside of the box and pretty quickly. And I thought, I don't want to ask some lame question just so I can say, oh, I spoke to the great Tom Panos. And then the director said, okay, no more questions. Tom's got to book an Uber and get to the airport in a hurry. And I shoved up my hand straight away without thinking. And the director said, oh, Tom, have you got time for one quick question? Trevor's always in our top 10. And he said, what is it, Trevor? And I said, Tom, why would you waste $80 on an Uber when I can drive you to the airport now? And he said, are you serious? I went, yep. He said, let's go. And I thought, you beauty, I can pick Tom's brain all the way. But Tom, being the absolute champion he is, he didn't want me to pick his brain. He wanted to know everything about me, my family, my careers. And I'm pretty sure when I told him that he didn't believe that I had 2 jobs.
I now remember it. Now it's just come to mind, because at first I thought to myself, this guy's really smart, because a one-on-one coaching session's around $500-600, an Uber trip's $80. I thought, this guy's clever. He's going to get an hour of coaching for nothing. He's going to end up being on top. But then I was fascinated by the fact that this guy was not a part-time firefighter. He was a full-time firefighter, and he was in real estate.
Yeah, well, that was my next question, Tom. It appears that Trevor has a really unique approach, to real estate. Look, there's a lot of great agents out there, and they have their way. They're high energy and rah, 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 and not to suggest that you're not high energy, Trevor, but it's a very different approach to real estate, isn't it, Tom?
It is, because what you've got here is, let's face it, there is a bit of a stereotype out there, Mark, that real estate's about the guy that's got the no socks, the nice tight trousers, 25, 30. It's got to be either a German car or an Italian car. All the looks are looking good, right? Young, gung-ho, chest and lots of biceps, that kind of look. Whereas in reality, real estate, my experience, like you, Mark, is that I meet a lot of people that don't meet that stereotype. They're married, they've got a family, they've got kids, they appear to be, you know, very middle, normal Australian, and they have real estate as their profession. And some of these people do exceptionally well. So they certainly, like Trevor, would not be the guy that would be on the show $1 million listing in New York, right? You know, he doesn't be that criteria. But as far as I'm concerned, they're the real heroes in real estate because they can relate to the Australian population far better than a lot of these ego-driven agents that come out of nowhere and, quite frankly, don't really last that long in real estate anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right. I remember when I first got into real estate, you know, many years ago, and it was all about that power suit. You know, a lot of real estate agents were dressed like bankers, you know, and it was about, you know, it was almost like projecting this impression that the real estate agent was better than the consumer, than the individual. And I think that idea, I know when I got involved in real estate, I just thought, well, what's the point of that? I want to be a part of the community. I don't want to be towering over the community like a judge. And I think that empathy, Trevor, you know, how important is that in your success, being a part of the community as opposed to sort of trying to dominate your community, which I think real estate came from.
Yeah, I think that's the huge part of my success, just being part of the community. Even before I was in real estate, I'd be always helping neighbours and putting smoke alarms in for the elderly around the corner and, you know, not charging them, just helping people that were less fortunate. And because I live in my main area, you know, I can't walk to the shop without talking to people, and then it always ends up, how's the market? So even when I'm not working, I'm working. And then the empathy in the fire department, just seeing people that are going through the worst tragedy of their life ever, puts everything into perspective, and then that just flows over to real estate. Like it's it. I think a lot of agents, and I'll always say a lot, not all of, but a lot of agents will lose sight of the fact that this is a major transaction to these people and possibly the biggest thing they've ever done in their life, whereas to us it's just another sale. So getting down with them in their level, working out how you can help the best and what works for them, what their sticking points are, and removing that, and just really having empathy and listening to them is key.
And I think it's also, you know, we all know this, that often when people transact real estate, there is a major life event going on behind the scenes, whether it's marriage, divorce, children being born, children leaving home. Usually, you know, there is a major thing that's driving that catalyst. And I think showing that empathy is really important. Yeah, really important. We've got a question here from Julie. It says here to hi, Tom, Trevor and Mark, what about the female agent stereotype, Tom? Is there a female agent stereotype?
Okay. Well, obviously the writer of that question believes that there is a female stereotype. So without me being presumptuous, I'm going to say that there's probably a couple of females stereotypes. And yes, some of them have got a perception. Some people have a perception that, you know, females might be, you know, dressed up looking like a model. You know, someone sent me a link to a page called Australia's Sexiest Agents, right? And I was watching, you know, all the females.
Was Trevor on it? Trevor wasn't on it.
Trevor wasn't on it, but the other thing I would say is Trevor probably would not apply to be on it either. And I do think, from what I've been told, there's a lot of the self-nominations in those awards, right? I've got to watch what I say there. I'll get all these other agents saying, Tom, I never nominated. They picked you there, okay? So please don't jump on me. I said some of them were self-nominations. You know, so let me bring this to the point. I'll tell you a similarity between the female and Trevor. There's a lot of female agents that are separated on their own, 2 kids. So that's a job in itself, Mark. And what I've noticed is Trevor, who's got another job, his fireman role, what people like that do, they seem to make it work with their time. So what happens, they've got these added responsibilities, so they don't mess around and waste their time like a lot of agents who have got all the time in the world. They don't seem to have the water cooler chat. They don't seem to have 2-hour coffee catch-ups with other agents. They seem to say, wow, I've only got X amount of time. Otherwise, I've got to get off and have these other responsibilities. So what they do, Mark, is they make it work. So I think that, you know, when we talk about the stereotype female agents, I'll tell you about some of the best agents I've seen. They are female agents that are on their own, raising kids, and they've used real estate as a vehicle to help grow and support their family to have a better life. And they seem to make it work. And I think that, you know, I'd love, Mark, for you to explore with Trevor, how can you actually run a full-time real estate life, become #1 at Buxton's, and still have a 40-hour commitment? Is it 40-hour commitment, Trevor, to the fire service?
48.
A week?
48
Yeah,
hours.
48 hours a week.
And let's explore that. We had Sonia Trelaw on a few weeks ago, and I'm going to paraphrase what she said, but because she didn't quite say it like this, but maybe there's, you know, less bullshit. Just being open and honest and transparent. You know, and that question that Julie's asked about, is there a female stereotype? I think the stereotype is just transparency and empathy, and women do that really well, but men can do that really well. Trevor, you know, is that a part of it? Is there less bullshit about when you sit down with a customer? And I hate to swear, or I swear all the time, so I probably shouldn't say I hate to swear. But is that a part of it? Less bullshit and just getting on with it and being open and transparent with your customer?
I like to think so, but they would be the best judge of that. But I do have the hard conversations, and, you know, one of my favourite statements is, I'm not here to make you feel good, I'm here to make you money. And I tell you the bad parts of your home that you need to fix or make look better, and get rid of all that. It's not making everything rosy. It's like, let's get this product, this home, looking to the best it can be, so that you get more engagement and more competition and a better price. And people, I think, respect that you're happy to tell them the bad news. And even with the vendor meetings and talking to them, it's just telling them exactly how it is. There's no use telling them it's a rose garden until auction day and then, where's all these bidders? It's like, I tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And I prepare them for that in my appraisal. It's
a sure way to build a bad reputation. by not being open and transparent. You're ultimately going to shoot yourself in the foot. I'm sure, Trevor, that one of the things, you hear it all the time with really successful agents, their competitors will come into a listing presentation and say, you can't use such and such, they're too busy. You know, they've got so many listings that how can they service you? Now, you've got a lot of listings and you spend 48 hours as a fireman. How do you combat that? I'm sure some of your competitors come in and say, too busy, you can't use Trevor.
I love it when they do. But the first time they threw that hand grenade in that I was a firefighter and the vendor asked me, it really threw me and shocked me. And then now I just tell them exactly how it is, that, you know, when I'm on day shift, if I get a call, I'll let it go to message bank, or if they don't leave a message, I'll send the screenshot to my assistant. She'll ring them within the hour. Whereas, you know, a lot of agents will have a day off. They'll be in the gym or surfing or whatever, and they won't even look at their phone for the day. So I think as a firefighter, they're getting better service, and I understand that speed is of the essence, and we get to fires within 7.7 minutes, 95% of the time. So urgency and speed is something that I've, you know, the last 33 years, that's all I've known. But like you said before, with mums that might not have a partner, they've got 2 kids, so they're doing 48 hours a week as well. It's just with kids, and at least I know my calendar, I can plan opens around it. One of my big points of difference is I attend all of my open for inspections, and I do all of my buyer callbacks, not my assistants. Now, obviously, every now and then I might miss an open for inspection if I'm negotiating or another one drags a bit slower, but 99.99% of the time, I'm actually at my opens. So my vendors don't miss out.
And I think that, you know, vendors don't expect, or no customer expects perfection. They expect communication, you know, and as long as you communicate I say that to my team all the time. You know, sometimes you've got nothing to tell someone other than you're just thinking about them. You know, pick up the phone, 30 seconds. I've really got nothing to say other than you're on my mind. And that communication, that simple communication is so important, but I think a lot of people neglect it. Hey, I'm just going to dive in. We want to show everyone our new feature. Tom, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but I haven't seen it. It's a pretty cool feature. Just a bit of background on it. But over the years, we've had some problems with our awards. They're really successful. But a lot of agents have said to us, oh, shit, I thought I was going to win that suburb, but I didn't win, and I don't understand why I didn't win. So we've just launched an awards leaderboard. So in real time, every agent in the country will know exactly where they stand in every suburb across the country. We will actually turn it off in December, so leading up to the official announcement. But up until the end of November, you'll know exactly where you sit. So I'll just show you the example here of how that works. I hope everyone can see that now. But so you can see here, when you log into your dashboard, you can see I'm on Cheltenham here. And Trevor is currently winning the award for Cheltenham. He's sold 21 properties in Cheltenham as the lead agent. His average sale price is $1.1 million. He's also got 19 reviews in Cheltenham. And his RMA score, this is really important for everyone to understand, this is the RMA score across all suburbs as lead and supporting agent. So you can clearly see exactly where Trevor sits on the Cheltenham leaderboard. Kevin's coming second. There's a really interesting one to show here. Another suburb that Trevor's in is in Buxton. He's currently leading the Mentone, sorry, not Buxton, the Mentone suburb, and he's just ahead of Andrew at the moment. But the reason that Andrew's sold more properties, has got the same number of reviews, but his RMA score is less than half of what Trevor's is. And the RMA score essentially is just all the properties sold divided by, it's a relationship between number of properties sold and number of reviews received. So this is a really cool, a cool feature that we've just launched. Everyone jump on and have a look. It's something that's really going to help us just give real transparency to the awards and how they all work. What do you think, Tom?
Look, I think it's good. I think, the concept of, having a competition from members in an organization, in a group, is a great strategy, because I think what it does is it drives behavioral change. If you're the person that's under Trevor now, I forgot the name that you mentioned, you'd sit there and you say, okay, well, I don't feel comfortable about that, so maybe I should do something about it. So what actually happens is it forces you to, change your behavior. And by the way, we see this, not only do we see this in sporting competitions, but we're now beginning to see it in a lot of corporate companies. They actually create a Competitify processes, and they have leaderboards. So it'll be good. And I've got to tell you, people like being winners.
Yeah, and I think, we were talking about this as a business the other day. People like being winners, but it doesn't really matter where you are in a race. Let's call it a race. I'm a Carlton supporter, and we've been at the bottom of the ladder for so long. But if we're coming 10th, we just want to get to 9th. And if you come in 9th, you just want to get to 8th. It doesn't matter whether it's a running race or real estate or whatever. You're always just trying to get ahead of the person above you. And when you can move that position, you can keep moving up the ladder.
Emma's come up with the word. The word I was trying to say was, I wanted to say gamify, and I said competitify. So Emma, thank you so much for making it clearer for the thousands that are going to listen to it and realise what's Panos going on about.
Competitify was pretty good, though. You should trademark that one. Because
yes.
I'm not sure that anyone else uses it. Hey, Trevor, so because you've been in the Agent of the Year 3 times in Cheltenham. How important is that that trust and that recognition when you're going into listing presentations?
I definitely use it. It's sort of a sitting on the fence answer, but I find if you just work hard, help the people and be real, the awards will follow. If you just aim for the award, I think you're losing sight of why you're there. And if that's what you are there for, well, I think you'll be discovered very quickly that you're fake. So if you can, help the person, get them the best price, make it as less stressful as possible, and I think then the awards and the accolades follow that. It's like a byproduct of doing a good job, rather than focus on the prize and just sell some houses along the way. I think that would be the wrong way of looking at it. That's myself. I'm not sure about others, of course.
I think you're 100% right. I think a lot of these things, whether it's wealth or success, they're byproducts of the hard work that you do. It's, if we focus on, I use the analogy all the time about people wanting to be famous. If you just want to be famous, well, what's the point? It's not really the objective. It's a byproduct of being a good actor, or being a good singer, or being a good sportsman, or being a good whatever. That's what makes you, and I think that's what wins you an Agent of the Year award. It's a byproduct of offering a high level of service.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is, Tom?
Oh, look, well, on the last point that you went off, if you want to be famous, you got to remember this. Being famous on Instagram is like being rich in Monopoly. It's not going to mean too much really in your life, right? Might feed your ego a bit. But the answer, the question that you're asking is, how important is it? I think it's intelligently done display to a vendor. So, for instance, I think if you're an award winner, what you do, Mark, is you don't turn around and say, "Hey, by the way, can I let you know that I'm the #1 agent for Rate My Agent in this suburb?" What the smart ones do is that they display it in their touch points, whether they're sending out a pre-list, whether they're actually going.
Oh, we've lost you, Tom.
Oops.
Bit of
I don't know what's that.
content.
Freezing and sitting.
Yeah. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Got you now. We can hear you. Yep, there you go.
You can hear me?
Yep, now you go.
Yeah, got you.
Okay, sorry. So what the good ones do, for those of you that may have missed what I said, what the good ones do is they don't literally say it, but it comes across in the stuff that they're presenting, whether they're forwarding over some reviews or whether they're going through it in any of their submissions. It appears to be there. And we've got to accept that there is people that are going to do a bit of a digital interview on the stuff that you give them. They're going to go off and they're going to scroll it themselves. So I think that's what the intelligent ones do. And by the way, Mark, I forgot to mention earlier on, if anyone, if I was a vendor in Trevor Bowen's area and a real estate agent came on over to me and said, "Oh, by the way, Trevor is a fireman as well, so you need to know it," or said something along the lines of that, "He's a very busy person," I would automatically think to myself, shit, this agent is worried about Trevor. Trevor must be a good agent. So what happens is the minute someone bags someone, you then to think to yourself, there's a reason why they're saying that, right? You'd go off and you'd do a bit of a suss out of Trevor online, and then you'd find out, shit, the guy's #1 in the area. He sells a lot of houses. He's got a lot of respect in the, Rate My Agent platform. So it would actually backfire to the person that raises it to the surface.
Oh, I 100% agree. It's like the football player playing the man and not the ball. You always
Correct.
just play the ball. You don't play the man. It shows a sign of weakness, and it shows a sign of fear that you're worried about the other person. And a lot of people agree here, Trevor. What a wonderful person Trevor is. There you go. You got a lot of fans out there, Trevor, Lisa says. And well done, Trevor. You obviously enjoy what you do. So yeah, it's obviously working. It's a great way to go. Hey, we don't have much more time, but Trevor, we were talking yesterday about, not only are you successful, but you're looking to grow your team and expand and grow your footprint. So what does the next 12 months look like, and what are you looking for?
Yeah, it's very exciting, Mark. Definitely want another team member, a third team member, just to help with just to soften me a bit, preferably a female, but not being a sexist, a male as well. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for a team member to grow. And yeah, so if anyone's out there not happy where they are and wants to join a great group in Buxton and myself and get lots of training, Tom Panos, rate my agent. Yeah, we love the lot. So yeah, I want a team member. But if you want a 9-to-5 job and a normal boss, don't contact me because I don't fit that criteria.
Oh, questions in Q&A. Oh, I've got them there. Hey, Tom, how do you go about finding, how does Trevor go about finding someone like that? What's from your experience, what's the best way to find someone?
Again, highly intelligent, a platform now that's going to probably have thousands of agents that are going to see this either today or on replay tomorrow. So he's already talking to the right audience. Number one. Number two, I actually find that, posting on your social media is not a bad thing because a lot of real estate people follow real estate people. It's weird. I know that vendors and buyers should really be following agents because that's where you get paid. But there's an ecosystem, Mark, in Australia where a lot of the real estate agents are connected via social media. So it makes sense that Trevor actually posts it on his, Facebook account. He should get a few inquiries coming in from there. And to be quite frank, Trevor, I think you're going to have a good experience hiring this time around because I'm getting feedback since COVID-19 started, the employer market is really strong. You are getting a lot of candidates. So I think that you'll end up hiring someone. And my final advice is for the kind of job that you want, Trevor, you hire for attitude and you train for skill. You hire for character and you don't worry too much about the action steps. They'll easily be trained on those things. You want someone that's got high levels of energy, high integrity, understands that the customer must always come first and make sure that their audio matches their video, that they say that they're going to do things. And by the way, Trevor, before you put someone on permanently, pay them for 3 days to come and do paid work experience because you're going to be able to work out in 3 days whether they're the real deal. Some people can bullshit during interviews, but they can't bullshit 3 days paid work experience. You'll work out what they're like.
Yeah, it's a good point, Tom. Yeah,
it seems to be the theme of this little webinar. No bullshit. It seems to be the way to go. We've just got one really quick question here from Rob asking about the leaderboard on saying that I've sold 5 properties and got many reviews. So the way the leaderboard works, Rob, is you need to sell at least 5 properties within a suburb in the calendar year, and you need to have got at least 5 unique vendor reviews. So Rob, if you do have any queries around why you're not appearing there, feel free to contact our support team, support@ratemyagent.com.au, and we'll get in touch with you and we'll just talk you through that. So I'm not exactly sure why you're not appearing there, but I'm sure there's a valid reason for it. Hey, Trevor, Tom, thank you so much once again. Trevor, good luck with the next 12 months. So I'm sure that it's an amazing effort that during COVID, during lockdown, that you're coming out and saying, I want to grow my team. I mean, that's pretty bloody impressive. So it's an indication that whatever you're doing is working well. So congratulations.
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it. And thank you to Rate My Agent. It is a great platform. I took it on board as soon as you launched. I think I would have been one of the early members if you looked up the history. I just think it's a great platform. And it works for you while you're sleeping, those 4 hours a night.
That's right. And thank you, Tom. Thank you again. We'll see you again in the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Tom.
Signing off. Thanks a lot, guys.
See ya. Bye-bye.